You know, that man was reading from Surah As-Saffat because he was looking at the angels of Rahmah apparently. And he was seeing all of that, how they came with all the gifts that will accompany this aris, this person being celebrated into her or his position in Jannah. And now I can see it. And then فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ. Now we are going to remove that veil, the veil of assumption, the veil of skepticism, the veil of not so sure, the veil but I can't see it, the veil that it doesn't sound logical, the veil of they told me but I am not so sure. All of that will be lifted and now you are seeing everything in front of you. And then that person started to read from Surah As-Saffat, لِمِثْلِ هَذَا فَلْيَعْمَلِ الْعَامِلُ. He said, let those who are striving to do things that please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala think of this moment. Let them think always. Say that this is the moment I've been working for. Now I can see it. It is for this. So my fasting, my prayer, my waking up for qiyam, my giving sadaqah, my share, everything. It's for this moment. It's for this moment. So my dear brothers and sisters, let us wrap up and maybe allow some time for questions. Preparing for Ramadan should have been done months ago. Actually, now we should start preparing for space. Can someone fill the space? Practical. Don't be too spiritual. It's a practical thing. I want to fill in the blank. Today, right now, we should start preparing for. Don't be too spiritual. Be practical. 3 letters. 3. Who said Eid? Eid.
MashaAllah. You are proud.
I knew it, but I thought it might not be it.
Allahu Akbar. Wallahi, I did not tell him that. MashaAllah. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. We should start to prepare for Eid, because Eid is not just something that comes after Ramadan. It came, so let's celebrate. No, if we start from day one to prepare for Eid, because it would be a well-deserved Eid because of what I've done in Ramadan. Because on the 1st of Shawwal, when I celebrate Eid, knowing that I've tried as much as I can to do qiyam and do, sahur and taraweeh and sadaqah and abstain from bad things and I'm preparing for Eid, because then when I will celebrate Eid, I will know I am not being pretentious. I am not celebrating something I don't deserve, because I know that I did not do what I was supposed to do. So starting now, we should prepare for Eid, inshallah. And I know every year I say it, but every year the same thing happens. That when this place in the first day, 2, 3, 4, it's filled with people that come for Taraweeh after Isha. Filled. Then, the filled place now is 6 rows, 5 rows, 3 rows, and that becomes 2 rows. Now, one thing I would like to tell you, inshallah, we are not going to be able to do Khatm al-Quran as Sheikh Ayman used to do. Sheikh Ayman is in Qatar. Now, I know that I will have a helper. Is Mustafa, is it? Is it Mustafa? Ibrahim, mashallah. Okay, Ibrahim is going to assist me, inshallah. He's a hafid of the Quran. He's a hafiz of the Quran. And inshallah, Ibrahim is going to assist me, not because I don't want him to be the imam for the entire, but Ibrahim, I would like you to be a sami' as often as possible. And there are certain days where I have to travel outside of London, and that's when I want you to continue. But we're going to agree on this, that starting in the beginning, we will start at 10:30 to pray Isha, and we are not going to stay till 11:45. We can't do that. People, would be given, inshallah, we will read maybe ruba al-hizb, or what is equivalent to 3/4 of a page, and keep going that way. Inshallah, maybe we can reach to the end of Surah Al-An'am, inshallah. And this way, I would like everybody to come and not to say, oh, no, I can't this Ramadan because I have work tomorrow. Inshallah, Allah will help us to make it easy for everybody. We will pray and we will do it with concentration. It will be this year, the motto is quality versus quantity. Quality, inshallah. So let us come, even the khatira will be no more than 5 minutes. You see, in the past I used to, give 15 minutes, 20 minutes khatira. Not this year. This year it will be maximum 5 minutes. It will be something just to scratch something in our subconsciousness and keep going. Now, you have the time, go and do qiyam yourself. You want to do khatam of the Quran, do it as individuals. And I encourage you to please go and read and understand. And, I know that, Ma'alish Wasam, I don't want to expose what you told me between you and me, but my nephew said that I would like this year to go beyond just reading. I would like to study. I would like to understand what it means. And I would like all those young people who don't have to go to school during the month of Ramadan. You don't have school. This year is your chance to do Ramadan beautifully and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through a dua. I want to teach you now. If you don't memorize it now, that's okay. Come to me, I will write it for you. And it is very easy, where you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make fasting in the long hours of this year easy. Repeat after me. Allahumma la sahla illa ma ja'altahu sahla. Allahumma la sahla illa ma ja'altahu سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا ما شئت سهلا. Oh Allah, nothing is easy until and unless you make it easy, and you make all things easy. Make this dua and Allah will make the fasting so easy for you, and you will be surprised, inshallah, how easy it will be. I want to draw your attention to this, that there is a table in the back where my book on fasting that I've written many years back is there. It's selling for $10. And I want you, if you have a copy, buy another copy and give it to a friend. Buy 2, buy 3, buy as many as you would like to make a sadaqah jariyah, perpetual charity, to give it to people who can benefit from the fiqh of siyam. It is in the back. There are also other books there, CDs that you can benefit from. Please, after salat, before salat, whenever you have time, make sure you buy those copies and you give them as gifts and you read them. Especially the children who are now 10, 11, 12, 13. The reading of the book is very easy for them. It is not complicated. They will understand the fiqh of siyam very quickly, inshallah. And make it something that every year you go back. It teaches i'tikaf, it teaches how to determine the beginning and the end of Ramadan. It teaches how to do dhikr, the significance of dhikr in Ramadan. It teaches so many things and the important historical events that took place in Ramadan and so on and so forth. So make sure that you buy your copies and benefit from them, inshallah. Now, we have about, I would say, 10 minutes, inshallah, for questions about fasting. If there is, by the way, you cannot say, but I did not know. If it is a burning question, then ask it. Don't say, oh, I have, a silly question. There's no such thing as a silly question. Please ask. Okay, so, yes, brother. Yes. Okay, IV or IM injections do not break the fast. Period. They do not break the fast. Period. Okay? We don't need to get into details because if we get into details, they don't. However, again, some say if you need it regularly because you are sick, then you shouldn't fast. Hisham.
Yeah, my question is, we're sitting up north in Canada where the day is very long. Is there a threshold? What is the threshold for which you can fast?
Okay. If you read the ayat, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah intends to have things easy for you. Allah is not interested, nor is He recommending, nor will He accept to impose hardship on you. Therefore, in places where the day is extremely long, I tell you, when one time I was in late July, early August in Edmonton, the sunset was about 20 to 11 at night, sunset. And this means that by the time they pray Taraweeh, then 2:30 is Fajr time. So basically it's, praying Maghrib, Iftar, Isha, Taraweeh, Suhoor, and that's it. Okay? People cannot do it, but I saw people who did their fast, but I say, if the community agrees, and the thing is, they should decide. We cannot decide in London, Ontario for the people in Edmonton, because I'm sure they are the ones who are living. Fort McMurray, for example, is even further north. For those people, there are two fatwas. The first fatwa is to see the sizable Muslim community close to them where fasting is tolerable according to the natural sunset and sunrise. Let's say Calgary, okay? If they find that in Calgary it is manageable, then Fort McMurray will either start at their Fajr and break after the exact number of hours that the people of Calgary fast. So they will break their fast before their Maghrib in Fort McMurray. Or they can go it backwards. They can start their fast even after sunrise and go the number of hours that will lead them to Maghrib, which is equal to the number of hours that the people of Calgary would fast. That's fatwa number one. Fatwa number two, they can find out in Mecca the number of hours they fast, even though in Mecca the day is usually close to the night. It is almost 12 hours. Okay? They are allowed. Some mufti said you take that and you fast those numbers of hours, that number of hours. It's up to the community to decide as a community. But people cannot go as individuals and say, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, what about you? I'll do that. And no, they can't do that. Okay? Yes? Eye drops. If you feel the taste of the eye drops in your saliva afterwards, then you should not use eye drops during the fasting day. You shouldn't. Anything that you feel it in your throat, then it is a foreign body that is going now to your inside through the usual passage, which is the mouth. Then you shouldn't have it. Now I know, he's an optometrist, and he told me that there is a new substance they put to constrict the passage and does not allow that to reach the mouth. If it is for sure, and he's the one to ask, then okay. But if you feel it, you don't have it. The same goes for dental work. Now, anesthetic, the freezing does not break the fast. The rule in dental work, make sure you tell the doctor, the assistant, that they are careful to suction all the water from your mouth and that you do not swallow anything from the water of the dental work.
Did you say earlier about vomiting? If you vomit, it breaks your fast.
If you induce vomiting, we know some polemics and some people who really, induce vomiting, then the act of inducing vomiting itself breaks the fast. The act, even though you did not swallow it. So inducing vomiting breaks the fast. But if you vomited and you could not control it, and you spit it out, all of it, it does not break your fast. If it came and you swallowed it, you couldn't help it, it does not break your fast either. Yes?
What if you're doing wudu and you're playing with water in your mouth?
If by mistake you were doing wudu and some droplets went in, that's okay.
How about after you're done, there's still water in your mouth?
That's okay. You do your, don't get paranoid. I've seen many people during fasting, they stand in front of the sink and they keep, after they did, don't do that. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Do the madmada, okay, put the water in your mouth, spit it as usual. Okay, as usual. But Islam is not to get paranoid. Yes?
If a breastfeeding mother should fast, or if she can do it later?
If she can, she should. However, let me say this again. Now, for a mother who just gave a baby, they say that for 40 days she should not fast. This is not true. If the blood stops after 2 days, then she should fast. If it stopped after 1 week, then she should fast. Okay? If there is a non-bloody discharge, then, معلش, it's okay, لا حياء في الدين, then she should protect herself with a pad or something and do wudu for every salat, and she would fast. She would fast if it is a non-bloody discharge. Yes?
If you're traveling and you listen in the morning, let's say, and you pray the Dhuhr and Asr, the Jama Asr, and Ramadan Reflections, and while we were there,
While you were there, where?
like your destination.
In your destination. Yes.
When you return back, is it allowed to do it after the Maghrib and Isha, Jama Asr, or do you have to do it at your destination?
You can do it at your destination, do Maghrib and Isha with it.
But if you did it when you return back home, is it allowed, or is it still valid?
For Maghrib,
Yeah.
if you could not at your traveling destination do Maghrib, you make niyyah of ta'khir, jama' ta'khir. Okay? And then when you arrive, if you could not, but if you could, you pray Maghrib and Isha with it. Isha 2 rak'at, because you are there. You don't say, but I'm going to go back Isha and pray Isha with it. No, you don't have to. Okay? So you pray Maghrib, but if you could not, you were doing things and Maghrib is a short time, then the thing is, think about it while you were there, but don't just I didn't think about, no, you think about it, this is your niyyah. By thinking about it, but don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. At Asr time say, oh, I'm going to be busy, I will not be able to make Maghrib, and then it just goes into Isha. You didn't think about it. That's wrong. You think about it when Maghrib comes and say, inshallah, I'm going. You don't have to say it. You feel it. That this is your niyyah of ta'khir when you come back. Then you pray Maghrib. Where are you, sister? Yes. You pray Maghrib and Isha, how many rak'at when you come back? 4. Some people ask and they say, well, because I was there, shall I just break it to? No. If you are back, I didn't like that. Okay. No, it's not good yet. We have to settle this. Okay, yes. Yeah, Adam Muhammad.
It says in the past that if the day of Ramadan long or it's too hot, we are allowed not to fast. There is one Islamic cleric in Saudi Arabia, أحل وأفتى. If the day is long, same as Denmark, but they start from 2:30 after midnight to fast. أحل that we are allowed not to fast, or if it's too hot, we are allowed not to fast. So
Okay.
how do you explain to us exactly what?
Okay. Now, while you were away, this question was asked and I answered it. But very briefly I say, there's no such thing as if it is too hot, you're allowed to break your fast. Never. Nowhere. Neither before, nor now, nor anybody. The heat or anything is not. However, if, let's say, you are fasting, and then you're starting to lose it, become disoriented, and become dehydrated, and you entered the category of sick, you've got to drink. Don't endanger your life. So it's not that at 10 o'clock in the morning, oh, they said it's going to be 45 degrees centigrade, let me break my fast. No. You can. Any other question? Yes.
How can we enter the ayah وعلى الذين يطيقونه طعام مسكين as regards the previous week?
Okay. Now I would like to say that there are 5 ayat that talk about fasting in Surah Al-Baqarah, but there are 2 other ayat in Surah Al-Sajdah without mentioning fasting. Now, the ones in Surah Al-Baqarah, I would like to say the second ayah that starts with أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخرى وعلى الذين يطيقونه. Now, this ayah came first, and it was the criterion for people at the beginning. It says it gave them the allowance. It says that those who are unable, then they can make it up in days later. Okay, but it says وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. However, if you will fast, it's better for you. But then as people, this is the second year of Hijrah, then as people in the third year of Hijrah became used to the practice, it says شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس. The next ayah was applied فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. The only allowance ومن كان منكم مريضا على سفر. So this ayah not replaced, then let's throw that away. No, nothing of the Quran is thrown. This is the science of abrogation, nasakh and mansukh. So this second ayah or the third ayah abrogated the one before it, and it became that فَلْيَصُمْ. If you are living at home, you fast. You don't break your fast. Okay? Yes?
For blood testing, is it allowed to do?
Absolutely. You can go for blood testing. It does not break your fast. Yes, look at this. Sorry.
You brush your teeth and swallowing a little toothpaste.
Make sure you don't. Can you make sure you don't swallow any toothpaste? Can you make sure? Is it possible? It is possible. So you make sure you don't swallow. But, and you know what? A little bit of toothpaste is enough. You know, I've seen people, as in commercials, you look at the picture, they put a foot-long toothpaste as though this is wrong, this is marketing. All you need is just little bit, and put it in your mouth, and that'll be fine. And the best thing to do, after you finish your sihri, you just do it. Spit the water, and you're okay. Yes, sister.
A surgical scope procedure, would that break the fast?
It is, if you can postpone it till after Ramadan, it's better, because there are some muftis who say it breaks your fast. Yeah. Yes.
A word for children,
How to improve your... Okay, the question is, how do we improve? And this will be the last question, unless somebody has a very important question, because we really went over time. Anyone? No, alhamdulillah. So remember next week, inshallah, we will continue with the series on Ramadan. Again, bring your questions and bring your friends. And come on time, please. Today at 12 noon, there were only 2 people. Okay, let us next time be on time and look at us. How many Muslims live in London? How many Muslims should have heard this message? But لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. So make sure you come on time, inshallah, and I will elaborate on that, inshallah, in the following weeks. But it is very important before we start Ramadan to understand that if you stop eating and drinking, but you do not stop the bad habits of ill-treating people, talking about people, cheating people, hurting people, the hadith that talked about one habit, which is very serious, is very clear. Okay. رب صائم ليس له من صيامه إلا الجوع والعطش ورب قائم ليس له من قيامه إلا السهر. Ya Allah, this is scary. Many are those who do not get out of their fasting except hunger and thirst. This is scary. And many are those who stand up in prayer at night and they don't get anything out of that except getting tired. This is scary. And in another hadith, also reported by Abu Huraira in Al-Bukhari and in Muslim, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is reported to have said, من لم يدع شهادة الزور والعمل به فليس لله حاجة في أن يدع طعامه وشرابه. He said, whosoever does not stop the practice of false testimony and acting according to that false testimony, Allah has no need for that person to stop eating and drinking. Why are you wasting your time? So my dear children, I'm saying children first because I love those children who are going to be fasting, inshallah. I'm looking at them and their smiley faces. And the questions they are asking. I love that when you stopped me at the masjid the other day and you asked me the question. And I loved your question, Saleh, and I loved, all those things that show that our ummah is healthy. It's healthy despite all that is happening to us. It's healthy. It's going to be a great future, inshallah. Now, one more time, don't forget to buy your copies of the book or books. And inshallah, it's going to be a great Ramadan. And we will see you at 10:30 tonight to bring everyone out, inshallah, to start it with a beautiful Isha and Taraweeh bi'idhnihi ta'ala. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم والسلام